Okay, welcome everyone to the Public Works Committee meeting. Without objection, we'll start with Parks and Rec. Kevin, what do we have here today?
I think you can.
Oh, I'm sorry. Chair, I'll a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. Mr. Bean, Mr. Bruno on the second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Kevin?
And I will turn it over to Dean to start talking about the action agenda.
Welcome, Dean.
Welcome, thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. First, 4 items on the agenda. First is a request to amend the county budget. We'd like to accept a donation from the Friends of Buckingham Farm, amount of $4,900 that would assist our consistent natural position for the entirety of the summer, which will be a tremendous asset to the staff.
And this would be for which items now? 1, 2, 3, 4?
No, just
No,
the
just
first.
one.
Just the first one, okay. Chair, I'll a motion, bring this forward for consideration. Mr. Bruno, Mr. Cressida on the second. Any further discussion?
No.
Mr. Bruno.
Thank you. And so this is for just a one-time.
Yeah, it's just a one-time. We will work with the budget in the future, but we were able to get a donation from friends to extend the position. The donation.
Yep.
Kevin?
So we currently have a part-time. Naturalists who come in the summer to work. Typically that gets us through probably be a month and a half at the most. This will just extend that person to be a little bit longer on, so we can get them through the summer.
Very good, thank you.
Mr. Street?
What's the length of that summer? How much long is this person gonna be there?
Double it to about 2.
Just probably almost
Window.
3 months.
3 months?
3 months they'll be there. Yep.
Okay, then, are we ready for the question? All those in favor of the donation signify accepting it, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion is carried, and we'll certainly send out a thank you letter for us.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the next item?
Second, the request to amend the budget as well. We'd like to transfer funds from a donation from the Town Highway Superintendent's Association, accept those funds for $500. And to mark for friends and event, next week, and I'll hand out posters. But that will help defray costs of that event, that free event, day-long event with about 15 to 20 vendors.
Okay, we have a motion, Mr. Strainer, Mr. Bean on the second. Any further discussion? Again, I'm sure we'll be thanking the Highway Superintendent's Association, of which we now have an august member.
Steve.
That's
right,
town. That's town. I'm counting.
All right, then. Shall we, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I carry. Next item?
Next item is a request for transfer funds. We request to transfer $3,000 from our regular salaries into overtime salaries, which will be from storms, and also will cover any upcoming storms and hatchery events, and hatchery coverage as well.
All right, let's bring this forward for some consideration. Mr. Merlino on the motion, second. Mr. Bruno on the second. Thank you, Dan. Any further discussion? We're ready for the question. All those in favor of the transfer signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Right, last item is a request to apply for a grant. Upland Farm, which is to apply for the Community Conservation Program grant funding as well from soil and water, and that will supplement their water quality programs at the facility. They do a tremendous number on. Yes.
All right, then. So this would be authorization to apply for the grant and
Funding that to see.
okay. And this would be 100% grant?
Yes.
100% grant. Mr. Cressida on the motion, Mr. Bean on the second. Any further discussion? We're ready for the question. All those in favor of applying for the grants signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Information for discussion, Maple Festival.
very briefly, Maple Festival was a great success. We had about 147 people. Usually we max out at 150. Wasn't the warmest day in the world, but it went unhitched. We had everyone walking around the property, taking a look at the maple sugar house. Doing the flights of maple syrup with their French toast sticks, and it was very well received on a blustery day that was not necessarily typical spring. So, then again, neither was yesterday.
And the spring zing, May 11th.
Spring zing, I keep saying it, May 10th, I apologize
It's the
for that,
10th.
edit, but I know I handed out posters last time, I will not throw them at you or airplane at you, but I will put them on the counter outside. May 10th, free event, lots of vendors, lots of local vendors, and the natural resource. And we hope all of your towns will be able to participate as well.
And number 3.
And number 3, just a quick comment on behalf of and in conjunction with planning. Although our first round of application for the hatchery improvements of our master plan, we've been working with the planning department on, didn't go through. It was ranked high. Ethan Gaddy gotten back to us, Dave Nelson got back to us, and putting in for what our main concern is, the improvement of the front 3 ponds would be very well accentuated with an investment in the visitor center as well, which we're pursuing. So I just wanted to say that out loud.
Okay.
Excuse me,
That's all I have.
Dean, just a quick question. What time does Spring Zing start? Because it's not,
Oh,
Okay.
Spring Zing starts right at about 9 o'clock in the morning.
great, okay,
Yeah.
good enough, thanks.
10th to the 11th.
What's that?
It's the 10th.
It's on the
10th.
10th. It is on the 10th, not the 11th.
Why don't you put the?
I am handing out the poster. Great. Absolutely. I will walk around the scene.
Privilege of the floor. Anyone wishing to address the committee regarding Parks and Rec? There being no one, Kevin, why don't we move on
DPW.
to DPW?
Thank you very much.
So the first item we have on there is for a new contract. This is for construction contracts for the road construction projects for 2025. And I will talk about those and a couple resolutions down, but this is to award the contract for the road construction project. To be determined, I will have the bid sheet on the 10th, so I will have a tab sheet. The board meeting is the 11th, so I will have those before the board meeting.
Okay. I'll bring this forward, Mr. Bruno on the motion, second, Mr. Bean on the second. Any further discussion? Cab will be received before the meeting.
Yes.
Are we ready for the question then? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next item, Kevin.
Next item we have on there is a new contract. This is the term agreement for application of pavement markings. This is what we do every several years, although the contractors are coming few and far between to do this type of work anymore. But this would be to award, and this is again, we'll get the bid tabs due on the 10th, and I will have them ready for the 11th.
All right, let's bring this forward. Mr. Bruno, Mr. Merlino on the second. Any further discussion? This also includes parking markings as well, does it not?
It does, and there's a piggyback clause on here that all the towns are able to use as well.
Yeah, I mentioned that just so the towns are aware that with the stripings and that all the municipalities, I should say, that they have access to this front and the piggyback provisions. So if you got some striping that you need done, perhaps this county contract would be of assistance. All right then, have we voted on this yet? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next item.
Next item we have is the transfer of funds, and this is the transfer of surplus road project funds to cover some of the 2025 road projects based on, as I talked about last time, the pavement cost has increased significantly. So this is to clean up older projects, 23 to 24 projects, and move them forward for 25 projects. And you'll see that we put it into County Route 35. It doesn't go to Diamond Point Road. That's just kind of a placeholder. And then we move the funding out of that into the specific road projects.
And let's bring this forward. Mr. Strainer on the motion.
Yeah.
Mr. Presidio on the second. Any further discussion? We're seeing some pretty hefty increases in cost of paving.
Wow,
Just so you all know.
what is the total? I mean, I didn't even want to add it up, and it looks like a lot of goddamn money.
Right now, pavement costs, and I think Ron had a project come in that they expected to be at 300,000, at that $100,000 more.
350. All right then, all those in favor of the transfer signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next item, Kevin.
Next item we have is to establish the road projects for 2025, and I will go through these real quick. just to make sure you all understand where they are, but you'll see the road projects listed. And I'll go down the line of these road projects. Stony Creek Road is in Thurman. Warrensburg Road is in Stony Creek. Athol Road is in Thurman. High Street is Thurman. Schroon River Road is Warrensburg. Bolton Landing Riverbank Road is kind of a split between Warrensburg and Bolton. Glen Athol Road is Thurman. Trout Lake Road is Bolton. Valentine Pond Road is Horicon, and Old Stage Road is in Lake Luzerne. There are several projects left over from last year, such as Diamond Point, that will be punched list and cleaned up this year, and Horicon Avenue in Bolton, just below the bridge that was done last year, or the culvert that was done last year.
Mhm. If you add that up, you can see the big number, and when we get the bids, don't be surprised. Maybe we'll get lucky.
Maybe.
Doubt it.
So just so you're aware, just to kind of talk, and this might help us a little bit with the bids, is we've grouped some of these together. So for example, the Horicon Avenue project that I had from last year, as well as the Trout Lake and the Riverbanks, they will probably all be included in one bid. As we group them together, and then the ones that are Thurman, Stony Creek area will be grouped together in another bid. The one that may be alone are the Horicon and Lake Luzerne, but that may produce a better price for us in our bid.
We don't have any length. You know, how much road are you paving here? Mile,
They
2 miles?
vary, they're all different, and they're all different types of construction. So the ones that are higher priced are more full depth reconstruction type projects, and the ones that are lesser priced are probably your mill and fill or your overlay types, and then they range from 3/4 of a mile to upwards of probably 2 miles.
Let's have a motion to bring forward these road projects for 2025. Mr. Bruno on the motion, Ms. Turner on the second. Any discussion, further discussion, Mr. Bruno?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So if these come in higher than expected, what's the plan?
We reduce lengths. We reduce what we're going to do. If I had a mile and a half of road and it comes in over what we expect it to be, then I'm gonna lower the amount that we're doing.
Thank you.
Right then, ready for the question. All those in favor of approving the 2025 road project signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carried. Next item, Kevin.
Next item is a miscellaneous resolution to close the capital project and return the funds to the fund source. And then the one following that would be to amend the county budget. That's number 6, to increase D-9950 transfer to capital projects, which is the same allowed funding.
They're related.
Yes.
Okay. Then motion on 5 and 6. Mr. Bean on the motion. Mr. Bruno on the second. Any further discussion?
This is for 5 and 6. For 5 and 6.
5 and 6.
Yep.
All those in favor of approving 5 and 6 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carried. And next item 7.
Next item 7, 8, and 9 are all related. 7 would be to the amended grant with DOT to add detailed design and right of way for the H-24 bridge replacements over Millbrook, and that's Adirondack and Johnson Road, or referred to as Beaver Pond Bridge. Number 8 would be to increase the capital project for that amended amount with the grant, and then 9 would be to amend the contract with a consultant to perform that work.
All right, let's bring this forward. Mr. Bean on the motion, second. Mr. Bruno, thank you, Dan. 7, 8, 9, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of approving 7, 8, 9 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next item, Kevin.
And that's all I have.
That's all you have. Privilege of the floor. Anyone wishing to address the committee at this time? Chair, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Bruno on the motion, Mr. Strainer on the second. All in favor of adjourning,